Women, you are strong, you are bold, you are courageous, you are beautiful. You are not alone, you are not abnormal, you are not damaged. There are millions of women that are going through the same thing you're going through. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Mrs. Corner. My name is Yemisi, aka Missy. Today I'm going to be talking about my infertility journey. After I put out my first video, I actually got a couple of people ask me to talk about it, and so without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of background. In my teenage years, my period was very regular. So I had very regular periods, although I never counted the days, but I saw my period every month, right? But I had the most painful periods. Like, my periods were so painful. And I remember going to the doctor a couple of times. This was in England. I went to the doctor a couple of times and I was told that I had cysts on my ovaries. I was told that it's normal. A lot of women have cysts, and actually the cysts end up like going away over a period of time. So fast forward to my 20s, my early 20s, I still had painful period, but I noticed that my periods became irregular with time. So 1 month I would miss a period here, and then a couple of months, you know, I would get them consistently, and then I would miss it 2 months here, and with time it started becoming irregular. And I didn't really think much of it, and the pain was still pretty bad. And I went back to my OBG, and they told me that I had cysts again. I think the longest I've gone without a period is probably 6 to 8 months, and I didn't have my period at all. I know, right? Freak out. Are you pregnant? No, I wasn't pregnant. Oh my God! Wow! In of 2015, I was actually diagnosed with PCOS officially. What is PCOS? So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's a condition where women have multiple cysts around their ovaries caused by over secretion of a hormone called androgens. PCOS, a lot of people that have it will have irregular periods, weight gain, acne, and facial hairs, or just excessive amounts of hair all over your body. So that was all those symptoms I had, and the doctor told me, I didn't really know much information about it, right? I have a baby. I think this was mid 2016, around March, April 2016. We tried the first month, second month, nothing, third month, nothing was going on. So I decided to book an appointment with my OBG, and I went to see my OBGYN. She confirmed again that I had PCOS. At this point, I'd put on a significant amount of weight. My BMI was, I think, obese. And so I needed to, the doctor advised me that before we even try and, you know, do anything, I need to try and lose weight. And so I started trying to lose weight. She put me on metformin. If you've been on metformin, please put a comment in the comment section below. Let's talk about metformin. She put me on metformin, and metformin was a nightmare for me. I had the worst symptoms from metformin. I was throwing up, I was nauseous. I basically had all the symptoms of pregnancy without being pregnant. It helped to regulate my cycle, but I just did not want the side effects. So I was trying to lose weight, get enough metformin. I decided that I wanted to try alternative medicine, so natural remedies. And that was when I went to an acupuncturist. I signed up to go for this acupuncturist. If you're in Houston, I will drop their information below. So I signed up for this acupuncturist, and I believe she was God sent, literally, because I walked in there, I told her everything, all my symptoms, and she said to me, Emanuela, I think you have too much estrogen in your system, right? excessive amount of estrogen, that is why you're having all this cysts. You need to watch what you eat. She gave me a list of foods to eat and a list of foods not to touch. I would link the list. I will put the list below in my description box. You can check it out. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical person. I'm only speaking from experience and what I used personally. I went through the list, and basically it was a paleo diet without also, and without being able to eat red meat. So I cut out all red meat. I cut out also anything that had soy, anything that had so tofu I couldn't eat, anything with soy, basically soy milk I couldn't take. I basically cut out all dairy. I was basically on a paleo diet without the red meat. It was a lot of green foods, it was a lot of fish, seafood, a lot of chicken, white meat. My African people, no rice, no yam, no bread. You know the struggle. So with that, I started the diet. I was doing my acupuncture, and I started with my exercise. I was exercising 4 to 5 times a week at least. I basically started checking my basal temperature every morning. Now I will also put a link in the description box below for you to go ahead and read more information. But what I would do is I would wake up in the morning. Before I do anything, I would stick a thermometer in my mouth and I would get my temperature. And what I started doing was I started recording my temperature over a period of time, right? And with that, I was able to come up with a graph. I will put a picture of a graph in. You can see a picture of a graph up there. I was able to get to see when I was quote unquote ovulating, and before you ovulate you have a spike in temperature, and by the time your temperature drops back down, you have ovulated. And I basically went with that information to the doctor in March. So I was so excited. I'd lost 50 pounds. My periods were regular. I was charting, and by the time I showed the doctor, she did do ultrasounds again, and unfortunately she told me that I still had cysts and I was not ovulating. So what she actually advised me to do, because I wasn't ready to start so she told me 2 things. Is either you start fertility treatment, and I basically start you go and do an IUI, or you basically try and use an ovulation calculator, a kit. I used the ClearBlue. Basically use the kit and basically see if your body will ovulate sporadically, right? Let's just see what happens. And so what I started doing was I continued charting my temperature. I used the ovulation kit, and yeah, over the next few months I realized that I never got a smiley face, so I was not ovulated. And so I kept using the calculator just to see. I continued for a couple of months, and then by October I traveled, and then I came back, and by October I was exhausted. I was tired of trying and not getting any results. And so I went back to my doctor and said to her, you know what, I'm ready to start with the fertility treatment, in this case IUI. And she said to me, well, okay, we need to do another ultrasound to make sure that you don't currently have any cysts, right? Because once you start with the treatment, it would basically increase the growth of the cysts, and so we need to make sure you don't have any cysts. And this was a Thursday. I went there. I remember crying. I went to the doctor, and so that happened. And then I set up the ultrasound for the Saturday. On Saturday I wasn't feeling too great. I went to the ultrasound, and I remember the ultrasound lady saying to me, are you pregnant? And I said to her, no, I'm actually here to check if I have cysts, because I'm trying to conceive. And she said, well, I don't see any pregnancies, but let's do the ultrasound. So she did the ultrasound, and I basically went on my business, right? I was supposed to start my IUI treatment on the following Thursday. On the Sunday, so I did my ultrasound on Saturday. On Sunday, I was feeling a little sick, and I just didn't know what was going on. And so I basically took a test, and the test was negative, and I threw it away. when you're going through the journey, fertility journey, I can't tell you the amount of pregnancy tests I took. I basically bought pregnancy tests in bulk, right? And I was literally tired of testing and seeing negative. I remember a particular time where I actually held onto a test, and I would look at the test in broad daylight. I would look at the test because I was having symptoms. I think this was one of the times when I was on metformin and I was having all the side effects. And I was convinced I was pregnant. And so I would look at the test in broad daylight, look at the test in blue light, look at the test in yellow light, all with the hope of that test was going to turn positive. I held on to that test like my life depended on it. I carried it everywhere with me, and it was a symbol of faith for me that it was going to happen. And when it didn't happen that month, and I found out, I went back to the doctor, I found out I wasn't pregnant, I was defeated. And so fast forward to this time when I took this test on the Sunday and I didn't see it, I literally just threw it away. I was tired of going through the roller coaster of emotions, right? And that happened, and then I was still feeling sick at night on Sunday. I looked at the test again and I saw a faint line, and I was just like, what's going on here? I dismissed it. On the Monday, I was still feeling sick. I had to go to work. I remember taking a test and there was a faint line, and I didn't know what to think of it, and I threw it away. On the Tuesday, I took another test and the line became a little bit like it was more visible. And I remember calling a friend of mine, shout out to Tayo. I called Tayo and I just bawled my eyes out. Like, I had a mixture of emotions. I was scared, I was happy, I just couldn't explain it. And so over a period of time, I called my doctor and I was so excited, and I told her I'm pregnant. So I found out this was like Tuesday. I called my doctor and I was supposed to start IUI treatment on Thursday. And so I always call my first child my miracle child. But it was just like, she said to me, okay, so another thing I didn't tell you was I had a couple of miscarriages through the journey, the 2-year period. And what happened was there were times that I would ovulate sporadically, and I didn't know that I was pregnant, and I would just miscarry the child, lose the pregnancy. If you have PCOS, miscarriages can be very high with people that have PCOS as well, because your body does not produce the progesterone hormone that helps with the fetus, and so that was something that I believe I was experiencing. So when I called my doctor and I told her I was pregnant, she was like, based on your history and things that was going on, she wanted to wait a couple of weeks before she wanted me to come in. And so we waited, but through that time I would test and test and test just to make sure that that I was still pregnant and my HCG levels were still high. That was basically my journey. My second pregnancy, I wasn't planning to be pregnant. I didn't even know, but I know that I'd started working out as well. After having my first baby, I was about 8. I just started feeling myself. I started working out. I started losing weight. I was eating healthy. I was doing rigorous exercises. Fourth thing that I would say worked for me was just living stress-free. The month that I actually conceived, I went to Nigeria. I was living my best life. I wasn't thinking it. I actually didn't chat that month because, like I said, I traveled, and I also didn't use my ovulation kit that month because I was just over it. But it happened when it was supposed to happen. Try and not get stressed. Try and just be positive. Try and surround yourself with positive people. Try and be happy. And the last thing I would say is don't have sex to conceive. Have sex to enjoy the process, enjoy the intimacy. I think it all works. Don't start like, oh, I'm trying to do this particular style, turn upside down. Like I've heard, like when you're going through the journey, you hear so many things. So many people tell you so many things. Oh, if you do this particular style, it helps. If you do this, you do that. Like, just enjoy the process and don't. I know it's hard. I've been there. I know the struggle. I can't even imagine women that have been going through the struggle for years on end. And you know, I understand, but please try and just be positive and be happy, and don't necessarily have sex to get to be pregnant, but just have sex because you enjoy that process. And I pray that none will be barren in the land. I pray that you will get your blessing and your bundle of joy as soon as possible. Aunties and uncles, come closer. Please, you don't ask a woman, are you pregnant? Are you trying to conceive? I hope you and your husband are doing the do so that you can get pregnant. Or touch a woman's stomach. Or, you are glowing, you are radiating. When are we expecting? These are all the questions that I got asked while I was going through my journey. Please, I beg you. I know that you're curious. I know that you mean well, but it can come across as being highly insensitive. If someone does not tell you they're pregnant, or if someone does not solicit for your opinion, kindly keep it to yourself. If you're concerned, you want to help, pray for them, right? All you need to do is pray for them in your own quiet time. You don't need to bring your questions, your concerns, or your worries to somebody that is already anxious or stressed because they're going through infertility. Thank you guys for watching this video. I want to give a warm welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining the gang, Missy gang. If you haven't joined, what are you waiting for? Auntie, uncle, hit that subscribe button, click on the like button, comment below. Let me know if you've been through this journey. Let me know if you're currently going through the journey. Let's share, let's interact, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.